E aí, pessoal, tudo bem? Olha, eu tive um bate-papo surpreendente, muito massa com o Billy, o baterista, Billy da banda Ascendia, lá do Canadá. Com certeza vocês vão gostar. Fique esperto, liga, fique ligado no que vai acontecer. Last week, I interviewed Millie Marienko from the Steelheart, and now I am having the opportunity of interviewing Billy Love. Is that correct? The drummer?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, from Ascendia. And I'm very grateful for Jamie because he introduced the band to me and said, "Hey, Leandro, do you know this band?" I said, "Whoa, I heard it, but I never heard the songs." And then I went to YouTube, Deezer, and Spotify. And right now, I'm going to make some questions to you. Of course, don't worry. All of them so easy to be answered back. And you guys, when Jamie asked me to go there and to dig out a little bit about your sound, I really got surprised by two songs. I'm not going to talk about them right now. Okay, let's. There's expression here in Brazil when you put the strawberry over the cake. Those are the strawberries for me. Okay, I want to talk about them later, but I want to make some questions first. Ascendia, of course, there's a lot of Latin in this word, and here in Brazil, maybe in Europe and in Italian, it's something close to arise. Right. Is that correct? Is that what the band wants to tell to the people? Why did you guys choose this name?
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, the root of the word is ascend, which is to rise. That's the same thing for English. And the reason why we chose the band name was because we were looking for a band name, and at the time I was really into listening to contemporary compositions by modern classical artists, like, for example, people that wrote scores for movies. So Hans Zimmer was a big one. Oh my gosh, I'm just drawing a blank right now. Anyways, there was a handful of them that I was listening to at the time. And we went to go see a movie when we went to go see Godzilla in theaters. And there was a trailer for a movie. It was either a trailer or the opening to Godzilla. And there was this massive ascending string line where the whole orchestra just went like crazy up. And it was like so dramatic and stuff. And I was like, ascending, that's so cool. I love those ascending strings. I was like, oh, the name ascending is pretty cool. And then it kind of just, turned into Ascendia. So it was very by fluke, but the meaning behind it is to rise. Yeah, that's it. I love the meaning behind the word, right? So it made a lot of sense, and it was kind of like a cool name that we thought at the time, and that's kind of how we chose it. It was really by fluke.
Great. And you said something that when I was listening to your songs, let me get my glue here with my copy here. There are two songs that I said, I was thinking to myself and said, if the band, it has a little bit to do with a rise, maybe that's why some songs are so epical. I don't know. There are some songs from you that I was listening, I was, whoa, this is so the Vikings. This is so epical. This is so like going back from years ago. I wrote down the name of two. Faded Away. That was perfect. I was listening and I said, whoa, I would listen to it. In a movie, Easy, I was picturing. And there is another one, Remember Me. Your shadow lingers near as friendships disappear. talk a little bit about the CD, the album, the Lion and the Jester. Then I want to talk about the title. Why the Jester? Why the Lion? And why the cover, it has an angel and not the real Jester?
Right. Okay. So these are all great questions, and you're bringing me back. You're bringing me back 7 years now. But yeah. So originally, when we first started writing music, we were listening to a lot of power metal at the time and a lot of progressive metal at the time. So a lot of the influences and a lot of symphonic metal at the time. So we had like those three categories, which really lend well to each other. To be honest, they're all like sister genres. So we were listening to a lot of bands like Nightwish, Camelot, Sonata Arctica, Dream Theater, Symphony X, these kinds of guys. And that's kind of the realm of music we were writing in as well. And, when you say there's that epic feel, and that's exactly what we were trying to do at that time. We were trying to make really epic, scores in our music as well. Like there's a lot of symphonics in our music in the previous record. And that was the vibe we were going for. Like that genre of like prog power symphonic metal is very epic, right? It's all about it's like creating a big emotion with a 80-piece orchestra and a band together. So the previous record had a way more of an epic style feel. And that has a lot to do, like I said, with the symphonics and stuff. And the song Faded Away and Remember Me, if you listen to those songs, you'll hear the symphonics and you'll get that total, kind of power metal, symphonic metal vibe to it. So that was the previous record when we first started writing music. It was at the time what we were listening to a lot. Like we were listening to a lot of bands, like I told you, like Camelot, Sonata Arctica, Symphony X, those guys. So, obviously you write the style of music that you listen to mostly. And that was kind of what came out of us at that time. And then you asked the second question about the name, the Lion and the Jester.
Yeah.
What does the case? So the Lion and the Jester, this is 7 years ago, and it was a very personal thing for me.
Whoa, great.
But the Lion and the Jester was a metaphor. So pretty much what a lion is a very proud creature and a protective creature. And what a jester is the fool.
Yes.
And what the song and the album was about extreme people that were extreme religionists, or whatever you would call it, people that were extremists in religion. So they were the Lion and the Jester, where they were very proud and very aggressive about their beliefs, but also at the same time kind of a joke. Not a joke, but a jester, right?
I know.
So it was like it was never abashed to faith. Actually, it was the opposite. It was more just talking about like when people got extreme about it and they started killing each other over it. That's when it became foolish. It was like, well, what are you doing? What is the purpose of your whole stance now? Because you were supposed to be religious and now you're extreme and you're killing in the name of God, and it doesn't make sense. It's contradictory. So the Lion and the Jester was specifically a metaphor for people that were extremists in the realm of religion. So throughout if you listen to the song The Lion and the Jester,
I listened.
Yeah, so that whole song is specifically about religious warfare. And if you watch the music video, you'll probably get that drift. So that's what that album was about. So it was a very epic style title, and it was a very personal, it was something that I was thinking about a lot at the time. So it was very personal to me.
Great. So I'm not so wrong of what I was thinking about the songs, the way that I was reading the lyrics and listening to it. And then I get to two songs, okay? I need to talk specifically about the two, This War and Parasite.
Yeah.
Okay? This War, I think like...
It's not like I am weak, but I'm not made of stone, immune to all the pain.
those images, if when you watch the video, you understand everything that he wants to say. Everything is there. But when I listened to the Parasite, I have to say congrats to you, because to the band, I love it.
I'm broken, I'm worthless inside. I'm crippled, I'm hopeless, the parasite. As the darkness begins to rise, look in the mirror, nothing but a monster. Look in the mirror, reflections trying to strangle me. You'll never, never heal the monster.
I just love it, the way that the guitar, the drums, the voice, everything came so perfectly together. And at the same time, those words are so heavy, so heavy. But the video, it isn't. It's like a, how can I say, studio video, but the person have to stop, she or he has to stop and listen very, very carefully to those lyrics. Talk about a little bit about Parasite and this war, please.
Yeah, so Paris, okay, so we were talking about the previous record, how it was about, you know, a lot about religion and stuff like that. Even Remember Me had, and Faded Away had religious themes inside of it. Whereas this record really came down to personal experience. So all the songs on this record are based off of experiences that we've had personally in our lives. So for example, just an overview of this war. This war is about an internal struggle that everybody battles. You know, everybody wakes up in the morning and is dealing with something, no matter who you are. No one wakes up and just goes, great, cheers, like having a great life. You know, you have those days, obviously, but there's going to be the majority of your life, you're going to have some type of suffering that you're dealing with. And that's what this war is about how everybody has a personal battle that they're struggling with internally. Parasite, on the other hand, is more about mental illness, which is a very similar theme to this war. It's about mental illness, and it's pretty much, you know, it talks about, you know, depression and anxiety and certain things that everybody can relate to, you know. And you know, when you start suffering from mental illnesses, you kind of become a parasite, because you become very selfish and your mental illness takes over you. And that's the whole point of Parasite. It's like, you know, if you're very depressed, you don't really care about how someone else's day is. You're really just trying to get out of depression, and you're doing whatever it takes to get out of depression. And sometimes that's like someone who's swimming in the middle of an ocean without a life raft. They're just trying to grab anything at the time to get out of it. And like, you know, if someone goes in to help them, a lot of times they'll drag them down and try, you know what I mean, in an attempt to try and save themselves. So that's kind of what Parasite is about. And they do have very, you know, related themes, because this war is about internal struggle, and Parasite is about anxiety and depression, which is also an internal struggle. So yeah, as far as they go lyrically, I think they're pretty, you know, explicit, both of them, in their lyrics about what the message is, right? Like, you know, in each of them, you get very, very direct lyrics that tell you, you know, what the song is about. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes,
I'm broken, I'm worthless inside, you know, like, it's okay. Obviously this guy's suffering, you know, and then that's Parasite. And then in this war, it's like, you know, it's not like I'm weak, but I'm not made of stone, you know, and that's what everyone's, it's like, yo, I'm not weak, but like, fucking relax a little bit here, you know, like, I can't just bear the burden of the whole world. And so they're very similar. They touch on many themes of mental illness and just struggling and that kind of a thing. So yeah.
Well, so I think that there's so much to come here, and I'm following you guys on your social media, of course, and then I'm kind of following up everything that you guys are doing. I noticed that, I think it was a post on Instagram that it wasn't you. I think it was the lead singer sitting back with his on the chair, and there's something like, "Be prepared, new things are to come." So right now, is Ascendia preparing a new album, or new music to be released or a new concert or something like that?
Yeah, so we have a bunch of things kind of on the go right now. So we're going to be releasing a new single coming out October 29th, I think. Is it 28th or 29th? October 28th or 29th. Late October, we got a new single coming out. I don't know if we've released the name yet, but I'm going to just say it. It's called Banty. So that's a single coming out. And then after that, we have one more single that we're planning on releasing. Yeah, so okay, sorry, it is October 28th. I do remember. Okay, October 28th, Banty is coming out. Then we have another single coming out after that. And then moving forward, we're still not fully, certain if we're going to release we have another like 6 songs to release. We don't know if we're going to release them in a package or we're going to release them, 4 weeks at a time, but we have another, let's just call it 6 songs to come out. We also have a performance coming on television November 16th. It's breakfast television. It's a TV program inside Toronto, so we're going to be performing on that. And then we have a show December 10th in Toronto that we're going to be performing at with another band called Pyramid Theorem. So we have a bunch of stuff. We have so much stuff like in the go. It's exciting because we haven't released anything for the past 3 years, right? Because of the pandemic, and we've been holding on to a record, our record for that long. So we finally made it out of this pandemic. We're finally starting to release. So we got 2 songs out. We got another 2 singles for sure coming out, and then a couple shows. So I'm excited for that.
And this is a great question and a great thing that you said, because I really got a little bit curious here. When you said like the band has been waiting for 2 or 3 years because of the pandemic, do you think that the pandemic, I talked to some Brazilian bands here, and they said that the pandemic kind of changed the way that they saw things, the way that they wanted to do things. There's a very visible line of the way that you guys are evolving in music since the very first video from Right Now, Parasite, and you said, oh, I have something new coming here. And by any chance, did pandemic change anything on the band, on the way that you see the world, on the way that you're writing the lyrics, or said, oh, I found my Parasite here from 2 years here?
Oh man, it changed everything completely. One thing the pandemic taught you is don't take for granted, the time that you have. The other thing it taught you is that, you're always like, oh, it's okay, we'll do it tomorrow, we'll get it done. It doesn't matter if we push it a week. It's like, yeah, well, you might push it 1 week and then now you're waiting 3 years because you're in a pandemic. So what it did make, it made time more precious. And it made us more urgent on the release of things, where it's like, we have 3 months to get this done. Let's get it done now, because who fucking knows what's happening tomorrow? We don't know, right? So like whenever there's like, okay, we got to do a music video, it's like I'm always just like, we're doing it right now because we need to get this done. So that's what it changed as far as the mindset goes. The next record is gonna probably be lyrically based on our feelings during the pandemic, because there's a fucking plethora of those. So it's gonna have a lot of influence on our next record as far as the writing goes, and also the release strategy. Man, the whole world has changed. The one very big change that you'll probably be able to relate to is during the pandemic, everybody that was used to buying CDs in that generation moved over to Spotify, because the whole CD buying population had no choice but to move over to Spotify. So now everybody that was like so sticky on switching over technologies finally made that move, and now it's like, wow, like Spotify is the way to go now, where it used to always be for rock and metal fans, still release a record, still release like a physical record. So that changed a lot of how people listen to. And then when people listen differently, bands have to release differently, because now, what's the point of releasing a record? You're not getting a physical record on Spotify. So do you release a physical record anymore? Is it necessary? And these are the things that everyone's trying to figure out, because everyone's on Spotify. It's like, well, are we just doing singles for the rest of our lives, or are we releasing records? And like, is it necessary? So yeah, the whole game has changed completely. And even how people interact with each other, like try getting a hold of people. You can't meet up with people because they're so used to doing everything online. and from their computer. Nobody wants to meet up anymore. So it's a very, it's all an online game now. So so much has changed from the pandemic.
Great. Let's talk about a little bit about Brazil, because you guys are yeah,
Yeah.
you guys are on Canada, right? I think, of course, you have been traveling and making all kind of shows and concerts down in the USA because they are so close. What about the world tour? Are you guys thinking about, oh, it's time to go to South America, it's time to go to Europe? Because progressive metal, especially the way that you guys sound, there's a huge market here. And as the hard rock, and after pandemic, they're very interesting. The Brazilian people, they started asking more to get back to rock and roll, especially to heavy music and to heavy songs, to heavy bands, to rock and roll in itself. What about that? Any chance of coming down here?
Yeah, well, so this is something we talk about all the time. So first of all, South America is a very important market for rock. We understand that. And we have been marketing a lot in South America, specifically because of the audience, right? Like the demographic actually loves rock. It's a huge rock audience. So yeah, this is something we've been talking about for a while. Like our two biggest cities that listen to us are in Brazil. I think it's Sao Paulo and I think it's Rio de Janeiro are the two biggest ones. And then like number 4 or 5 is Mexico City, right? So yeah, like our plan is definitely to get down to South America. We would all love to. Like, who wouldn't want to go to tour in Brazil? Like, we're from Canada. Brazil is fucking exotic, man. Like, that would be great. That would be a great time, right? So we're definitely planning on getting over to South America as soon as we can, because of the fact that people are listening there. So pans are hot in Brazil. We definitely want to cook there a little bit, so it really depends on feasibility as well, right? Like, it's not so easy to take a band from Canada and just go to Brazil and play a one-off show. Like, that's never going to happen. It would have to be a tour. So like, hopefully we could hop on like a pretty decent bill with a prominent band in Brazil and do South American countries. Like, we would love to. So yeah, we've been talking about it all the time. We're always talking about getting over to Brazil.
Great, Billy. I'm so thankful for your time. Once again, I have to say thanks to Jamie for all this opportunity. One last word for your fans here in Brazil, because you said something that I already noticed it. There are so many Brazilians making comments down in your videos on YouTube, and a lot of them, they are speaking Portuguese. I don't know if you understand, or if you go to the Google Translator. But so many Brazilians love Ascendia. They love the way that you guys sound.
So I would love to say to them, first of all, we appreciate it, because it's really nice to see, support from anywhere, first of all. Second of all, it's really cool to see people that speak a different language are really gravitating towards our music. And I think, I really admire Brazil for the fact that they have such a big rock audience, because, I love fucking rock. But it's not that, I tell people I'm in a rock band here, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, you play in your garage? It's like, no, we don't play in our garage, man. It's in North America, it's hip hop, right? It's all about hip hop and pop. So it's really hard to get, especially Toronto. It's just not that big of a rock scene. So the fact that Brazil is as big of a rock scene as it is fucking so cool. And we love that. And we appreciate all the support we're getting. And that's exactly why we want to come down there, because we want to, show our thank you for the support that we're getting, because we see the comments. There's a lot of Portuguese, comments there. And it's fucking awesome to see. We get really excited about it, to be honest. So we're very thankful.
I'm the one who thank you. Okay. And keep rocking. Ascendia, go. Anything that you guys need, just call me. I will be there here waiting for you guys. Okay. Just come to Brazil and I will be there to have a beer with you.
I appreciate it. When we come to Brazil, you're definitely coming out to a show. We're going to hang out.
Don't worry. Thank you, Billy. Thank you so much for your time, buddy.